Hello there. My name is John Harrison, and I am your instructor for EP2 English, EP2 Practical English Practice 2, or as it were. In this class, we're going to do a lot of practical applications of teaching, and we're going to work together to help awaken your teaching skills. So right now I'm recording a video, and there'll be graphics on the screen throughout. We're trying some new things out. I'm recording at home, and so we'll see how it goes. So your patience is desired, but I hope you have it. Now, this class throughout most of the semester is going to be running what they now call untact. What we're going to be distance learning. We'll be using video lectures, and we'll be using eClass quite a bit. And we're also going to try to use some other apps to help move us along. There's some different apps that we can help use to provide more communication and feedback. And also, we'll have to make video lessons, most likely, with how things are going with the coronavirus situation. On our schedule, before and after your observation period in September, I believe, we're supposed to have in-person class. We'll see what actually happens. If we're in-person class, I'll be delighted, but we'll have to see what happens. So here in EP2, we're not really worried so much about English accuracy. What we're worried about is teaching English. And with that, hopefully, you are going to get some good practice and good ideas about teaching in general, about language teaching, because in the future, you might need to teach other things. You'll be elementary school teachers. You might need to teach Chinese some days. The skills you learn here can be utilized and applied in teaching other subjects for elementary school students. So as I mentioned before, my name is John Harrison. This is my second year here at Chuncheon National University Education. I say here, I don't live in Chuncheon anymore. I live in Hanam. So my office hours will be, this semester, it looks like I'm not going to have office hours. So if you need to contact me through eClass, is quite nice. There's a message system. There's also a Q&A section that's very helpful. And if you have a question about what's going on in class, I urge you first to ask on Q&A. And you don't need to have your name shown if you feel embarrassed about your question for whatever reason. It's very helpful to answer one question one time rather than answering the same question 10 times through Messenger. So, otherwise, on the syllabus, you can see my phone number. You can text me as long as you text with your full name and your major and what class you're in. I teach 3 different classes this semester. So if you just say, Kim Ho-gi, then I might have 3 other Kim Ho-gis in other classes. So make sure to give background information about who you are so I can better help and answer your question. So then also, just for our purposes, please don't send me messages on Kakao Talk because I don't like it. Please don't call me because I don't like it either. And if I see a phone number that I don't know, I'm unfamiliar with, I'm not going to answer it. I think it's voice phishing or somebody trying to sell me a cell phone or a loan scam. Those are quite popular nowadays too. So with that in mind, let's talk about some class rules. Now again, since we're online, this is going to be a bit different, but we had online classes last semester, so it's not entirely new. With this class, you're going to have to participate. In eClass, there is a discussion tab. There'll be regular discussion questions. You'll be expected to participate in those discussions. And yes, it is part of your grade. And we'll talk about the grade breakdowns in a little bit in particulars. So if you ever have the question, is this worth a point? And it's about the class, the answer is yes. The answer is always yes. But we'll talk about grading as we go along. Something that we're going to get into because of how things are set up this semester, you may or may not be working in teams, but something that's very essential for this class, you need to be positive. Try your best. Have a good attitude. That will help you out a lot as we move along. All right. We do have a textbook. Now, I don't know if you can easily get a paper copy of the textbook. So with that in mind, I'm going to be uploading a PDF version for you to download and you can view at home easily. It's over 100 pages long, so you might not want to print it out, but you'll have something to look along with. So please make sure that you have the textbook because I do use it. I reference it quite often. So with that, let's talk about what we're going to do in this class and which parts of teaching we're going to be practicing and developing. Now, this section is the practical part of the the practical counterpart to the theory class that you're learning with the other professor. So you're going to learn theory about how things should do and how things should go, and then in this class you're going to do things. You're going to put what you learned into effect, and that should prove very helpful for you. So you can take what you learned, use it lickety split, and figure things out as you go along. And that's part of teaching, part of learning how to teach. We're going to try to focus on 4 different kinds of activities, and we'll see how it goes with this untacked. But we're going to talk about songs and chants, but eliciting vocabulary, try to get students to participate and display what they know or don't know. We're also going to talk about games, how to give instructions, very important, and also thinking about how games can be applied in and adjusted for your particular needs in your classroom. We're going to talk a bit about role-playing and creating your own stories, and also storytelling and experimentation. We're going to work with that as well. But we're going to be using we'll be using lots of different activities and to help us understand the skill practice sections of a lesson. So we're also going to be working with lesson plans and why they're important, and we'll get into that because they are important documents. And so every lesson of this class will have a lesson plan. It'll be posted onto eClass for you to compare to see what I planned and how do things always turn out. They might not always match, but that's life. So in this class, hopefully, we have got some goals as well. 1, you're gonna practice English. That's good, because how many other English classes do you have this semester? Maybe 0? Maybe 0. So you're gonna gain confidence. You're gonna gain confidence, and you're gonna be teaching. You're gonna start teaching lessons. That's good. The only way to get better as a teacher is to start doing it. You can read a lot of books about how to teach, but until you actually start doing it, it's hard to put all what you learned into effect and start actually doing what you learned. Even though it's in your head, you have to do it to make sure it works and how it works. So hopefully also you're going to learn new things, new shortcuts, as it were. Because when you're a teacher, you're not always going to have time to be 100% creative and perfect. It's nice to be, but we're going to talk about some shortcuts we can take along the way. And hopefully we have some fun along the way too. That's what we hope for. All right then. So let's let's get back into it. Are we ready? Let's talk about grades and how grading works. We need to talk. We need to clarify a few points on this because I've had some confusion in the past semesters with some students. So this is our first class officially. What do you think your grade is right now? So if you think of your grade as a number from 0 to 100, what do you have right now? What's your grade? Because I think we are thinking of different numbers. Oh, really? Wow. A lot of students in the past, they said 100. 100 points right now on the first day. To me, that's a lot. This might be a cultural difference. It might be a generational difference. It might be an anything difference. To me, right now, every student has a 0. So this will affect your effort levels throughout the semester if you're thinking this way. Let's think about it this way. If you think you have 100 points on the first day, then your only way to go is down. You can only lose points. So you're going to clutch your points very preciously because you can only lose them. But if you think of the number of points you have on the first day as 0, you can only gain points. You're going to work hard. You're going to work feverishly to get more and more points. And I think this is a healthier outlook for you as a student. If you want to think about it in different ways, how about a job? If you get a job, a part-time job somewhere, do you get your paycheck right when you show up and start working? I never have. I've had to work and then get paid. And depending on how many hours I worked, I got paid more money or less money. That's how it was for me. Or, and this is similar here with your grade. The more work and effort you put in, the more points you'll get out. So, something to think about is that right now you have 0 points. But as you work and participate and work well with each other, you'll get more and more points, and that'll be great. If any of you play RPG role-playing games, the same works there. You get XP, you get experience points by playing the game. The more you play the game, the better you play the game, the more XP you get, the higher the level your character goes. The same's true here. So, in this class, we're going to have, there'll be the weekly lectures, there'll be discussions, there'll be a few quizzes. The quizzes are more about basically checking how much you're actually learning. It's a good way to see how well I'm imparting the information to you. So that it's good for that. There'll be micro lessons, and as of right now, I think we have to have video micro lessons, which is a different skill, but it's a skill that we need to start learning very quickly because thanks to coronavirus, online lessons are a thing now, and we've got to get good at it and get good fast. So it's something that we'll need to bear in mind as we go along. We'll see how things progress, though. We'll see how things progress. And what else? We got that. So let's talk briefly about language skills and learning skills in general. When we learn a language, especially think about learning a language and actually using it, acquiring the language, why do we do that and how do we do that? We do it for one of two reasons. There's two possible ones. One, we want to use that skill. We want to learn it. And the second is we need to use it. We need to learn it. So when it comes to language learning in a foreign language environment, this actually proves difficult because do young learners, elementary school students, do they understand that they need to learn English? Most of them, absolutely not. It's just another burden to bear. But if a person comes from, let's say from Vietnam, comes to Korea to work in a factory, do they need to learn Korean? Yes, they do. They have to learn some amount of Korean because they need to live, they need to speak, they need to function within the society. So this happens quite often where you might be taught something, but you don't learn it because you don't want to learn it or you don't need to learn it. And so this is something that we're going to have to deal with as teachers, trying to convince students that they want or need to learn it, and or else trick them into it, so to speak. So let's consider when we move along here about eliciting vocabulary. That means drawing vocabulary out from students so they use their brains to make the connections and guess the meanings of words. Some problems I ran into while I was teaching in the classroom is that the students aren't stupid, but they are lazy. Humans are very lazy creatures. If they waited long enough, the Korean co-teacher would translate what I said into Korean. Boom, bada bing. They just get to answer in Korean and go, nay, nay. And they get to say it's easy because they just said nay, nay the whole time. And now they want candy. So it's something where we'd have to work with and trying to not force, but try to get their brains to start making connections between these foreign sounds with meanings that they do possess. So as we move along in the future, we're going to learn some methods and ways that I've used in the classroom and that I would dare say almost all of your teachers have used on you, and that methods I would use on you if we were in person. But we can't over video. But it's something that I don't know how aware you are of these methods. Maybe you were when you got older as a high school student, but not when in elementary school. So that's a key thing there to think about. I have and it's not as well. Yes, we'll call it an assignment. I'm a very old-fashioned teacher. I'm a very old-fashioned person. I like personal connections with students. That's literally one of the things I like about teaching. Right now, I'm looking at a camera lens, and I hate it. I hate the camera. I hate everything it shows, because then I see my face, and I don't like looking at my face either. I see the camera lens, and I see my face, and I got a mic right here, and then I got a sound system over here on my monitor. I don't like any of this. And later I'm going to have to edit and put happy pictures everywhere. I don't like this. I like talking with students. And so I don't know what you look like. I don't know how you talk, how you sound. So I'd like you to use, there's an app called Flipgrid. And there'll be links for it. And on eClass, there's going to be an invite code for you to make a short 30-second or less introduction video of who you are. Just saying hi, hello. This is, for lack of a better term, this is a safe environment. As in, for now, only I will see the videos. It won't be public on YouTube. It's just for me and no one else. It's a private ecosystem for us to work in. So that will be quite helpful. There's some quite legitimate concerns about privacy issues, and they are issues. So I don't mean to demean anything, but I want to see faces and hear voices and make connections as much as we can. So that will be your first assignment, and that'll hopefully go along. I'm going to attach, as part of our materials, a short song, or maybe two songs, and I want you to start thinking about how these English songs, what vocabulary they introduce, or what grammar they introduce, what language they introduce. And we're going to start talking about that next week in much more detail. But I want us to get started so we have something to do during the week. So hopefully, we've explained things a bit. Be sure to check the syllabus on eClass. They'll go in more detail. I don't like showing those things in public on YouTube. Hachi machi, there you go, for privacy issues. So we'll have our first homework. Exciting. That'll be under the assignments tab. And then we'll have the songs. I want you just to watch them. That's all you need to do. Just watch them. And we're going to talk about them in more detail next week. All right. I hope you have a great first week. Stay safe. Stay healthy. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.